In this episode, we talked to Nomi and Jose about the importance of figuring out if you have a more optimistic or more pessimistic brain. As we discussed, how we see the world is that same lens through which we judge and interact in our relationships. I guess we can think of it as a prejudgment that we carry. When you engage with others, you're primed to have certain feelings and reactions based on whether your brain is telling you that it's a trustworthy, hopeful world or that it's an unsafe place that will ultimately disappoint or hurt you. That's why it's worth talking about, because once we know what lens we have, we can intervene for ourselves before we react, and we can also have compassion for ourselves when we reflect on what may have gone wrong. What's interesting is that I didn't know going in that Nomi and Jose were going to be opposites. But what's funny is how they sort of immediately peg themselves and the other person correctly. It's not something that they've thought about before, but it took them like 2 seconds to identify which category they are. And suddenly they could think of a lot of ways that those dynamics impact their relationship for better and worse. So my goal here is to have you figure out which one you identify more with, and then think about how it impacts the way you act and react to other people. What I'll say is that there isn't a right one to be. I suppose trying to find a middle is ideal, but I don't know if I'd go so far as to say like pessimists should stop being pessimistic or optimists need a reality check. To me, it's more about insight. It's about gaining understanding that this lens is a factor in why you engage with people the way you do. And that if you notice it causing impairment or conflict in your life, maybe working with someone to unpack that. And since this is a show about relationships, I have to say we like to talk about building empathy. That's very important in a relationship. So this is a topic where it's helpful to know what your partner's bias is as well, so that you can understand and have compassion for their reactions and their defenses as well as your own.
That's it for today. If you want to share your thoughts on this topic or any other, you can email us at theunrelatingpodcast@gmail.com.